in awe of beauty expressed through ornate buildings, ordinations, and the majesty of colorful fall, quickly changing into the somber tones of winter. Endings and beginnings are ever constant in life, in the world, and throughout the universe. Even the most solid, impressive structures will eventually come down and become rubble. And we, like Jesus' followers in his day, ask, when? What will be the sign that this is about to take place? We've been asking these questions for millennia. And in the late 1970s, early 1980s, the consciousness of the world was that the world was ending. The second coming of Christ was near. And we saw countless bumper stickers saying, in case of rapture, this car will be unmanned. At the turn of the century, affectionately called Y2K, the world was caught up in fear that the switch from the two-digit year 99 to double aughts would wreak havoc on computer systems, ranging from airline reservations to financial databases to government systems. And we can look back now and see the fallibility of those fears because we live with the reality of computer crashes every day, of the tragedy of 9/11, of a world pandemic, and the life of the world continues. Yet human beings are often afraid of change, whether it be personal or in the world around us. And when people ask Jesus when and what sign, he responds, beware that you are not led astray. For many will come in my name and say, I am he. The time is near. Do not go after them. Do not be terrified at rumors of war and insurrections. They will come, yet the end is not imminent. When we look at our world today, we could easily say the end is near. We have wars and insurrections, famines and plagues, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, you name it. Yet, if we take today's collect to heart, to read, mark, learn, and inwardly digest Scripture, trusting that Scripture was written for our learning, we build a foundation for our faith that produces hope for an everlasting life. Malachi was written to encourage the people of God to live faithful lives, using fear-inducing language to get people's attention. But then he resolves it with, but for you who revere my name, the Son of Righteousness shall rise with healing in its wings. And Paul in 2 Thessalonians speaks to followers of Jesus, commanding them to be accountable, to live according to tradition, to work for the good of the whole. He was speaking to a community in which some followers of Jesus, believing the end time was near, relaxed, refused to work, and were hanging out waiting, not earning their keep, nor contributing to community. Basically saying, we're good, we've been baptized, we have nothing to fear. We're waiting on Jesus. But Paul encourages all to live their faith, to stay engaged, to work quietly and earn their own living, and not to be weary in doing what is right. It is living into our faith, sharing our gifts, and trusting that change is ever necessary for the cycle of life, that we live into each day in new life with hope and faith. The ending is already and not yet. Change is constant, and we celebrate it, just as we celebrated Bo's ordination Thursday evening. In his ordination, this community upheld his journey in faith, one in which each of you was an instrumental part. Whether you realize it or not, just being part of this community makes you part of that journey. It is in this community, in engaging one another, wrestling with life together, that each one lives more fully a life of faith and hope in the resurrected Christ. And for that, we celebrate. We join our voices with all of creation as we celebrate and rejoice in God's ever-changing beauty, God's daily victory, God's mercy and faithfulness to all creation. Our response to God's marvelous graciousness is to shout with joy, to sing, make music, adding to the resounding joy of all creation, and trust in a loving God who, when our day comes, will look on us with the loving eyes of Jesus as the balance of our endeavors are weighed. Our role is to live faithfully, engaged in the cycle of life, in the fullness of life every day. As this turning of the seasons, the ending of our church year, we embrace the change and look forward to the hope of the future. There is a hymn in Wonder, Love, and Praise. It's one of our it's a supplement to our hymnal. And it's called Signs of Ending All Around Us. Listen to the words and sentiments of this hymn. Signs of ending all around us, darkness, death, and winter days, shroud our lives in fear and sadness, numbing mouths that long to praise. Come, O Christ, and dwell among us. Hear our cries. Come, set us free. Give us hope and faith and gladness. Show us what there yet can be. Can it be that from our endings, new beginnings you create? Life from death and from our rendings, realms of wholeness generate. Take our fears then, Lord, and turn them into hopes for life anew. Fading light and dying season, sing their glorious to you. Speak, O God, your word among us. Barren lives your presence fill. Swell our hearts with songs of gladness. Terrors calm, forebodings still. Yet your promised realm of justice blossom now throughout the earth. Your dominion bring now near us. We await the saving birth. Birth, death, resurrection, ascension, promise is always pending as we live into the already not yet.